my name is Samantha Irvine, and I'll be performing the Luddite Rebellion, Progress versus Preservation.
All right, class, settle down. Welcome back to AP World History. I hope you all did your reading over spring break because we've got a lot to cover this week. Billy Houston, put down that gadget and open your book. I don't want to see that blueberry or strawberry or whatever it is out again during class. Now, where was I? Right, before spring break, we talked about the Industrial Revolution and how it started in England with the rise of the textile industry and then rapidly spread to the rest of the world. Remember from your reading? Sally Crandall. The English historian E.P. Thompson called this the greatest transformation in history, dividing the traditional and the modern worlds. The issue we're going to ponder today is the Luddite Rebellion in the early 1800s in response to the rise of the textile factory system. It just so happens that this is the bicentennial for the Luddites. Were the Luddites, in fact, against technology, as many have claimed it, or were they merely trying to preserve a craftsman and agrarian way of life that was later destroyed by an industrial economy, which created a working-class culture devoid of creative fulfillment and individualism? Wow, that is a doozy. Now, I know how much you love it when I bring history to life. Don't roll your eyes, Tyrell Johnson. You know you love it. Today, you're gonna get a taste of what life was like during the Industrial Revolution. Calvin Hodges, stop Googling or Oogling or whatever it is you're doing and listen to Mary Molyneux, a weaver's daughter from Lancashire, England. My father was a weaver and my mother was a seamstress, creating beautiful dresses for wealthy women. My mother and father worked how and when they wanted, usually no more than 3 days a week. Work required agility and skill, and persons took pride in their craft, and the entire family pitched in. My sister Lydia and I picked flax from the combs, worked in the garden, and tended to the animals. We didn't have much, but we didn't need much. We had, as they say, a barrel of home-brewed ale, a weekday suit of clothes and one for Sunday, and plenty of leisure. But then, in the late 1700s, a man named Mr. Richard Arkwright stole our livelihoods and our lives. Arkwright invented a machine that produced 128 threads at one time. But it wasn't the machines that stole our livelihoods. The weavers wanted the machines, but they were very expensive and we couldn't afford them. Instead, middlemen lent us the machines, but they charged more for them each month than we could ever make. Arkwright built a factory that operated 23 hours a day, and one machine could do the work of 200 men. Instead of craftsmen with skills, Arkwright and other factory owners like him turned us into human machines, required to do one task as quick as possible without any thinking. But our proud men wouldn't take factory jobs with long hours and low pay. So women and children were forced to work so their families wouldn't starve. 4/5 of those working in factories in England were women and children. Factory owners didn't care about the workers, not even the children. Adults worked 16 to 17 hours a day, 6 days a week, and children as young as 4 were made to work 12 to 14-hour days and clean dangerous machinery even while it was running. They were hurt and often killed by the machines, and foremen walked up and down the aisles each day with a whip in hand, beating the women and children who didn't work hard enough. How will we regain our livelihoods and our lives? In 1811, a group of us banded together in secret to rebel. We called ourselves the Luddites, after Ned Ludd, a young apprentice who smashed up his loom after his master beat him for not working hard enough. By November 1811, the first Luddite attack was organized in Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire against a master weaver named Hollingsworth. Just like Robin Hood and his band of merry men, stealing from the rich to give to the poor, the Luddite men forced their way inside and snatched up half a dozen looms. My younger sister Lydia and I led our 50 men in one attack at the mill outside of Bolton, where we urged the men on by shouting, "Now, lads, we're destroying all machinery!" But the British reaction was swift and brutal. By February 14, 1813, a bill was introduced into Parliament to make the breaking of a machine punishable by death. The poet Lord Byron came to our defense. These men were willing to dig, but fate was in other hands. Their own means of subsistence were cut off, all other employments preoccupied. Can you commit a whole country to their own prisons? Will you erect a gym in every field and hang up men like scarecrows? Place the country under martial law. Are these the remedies for starving and desperate populace? When death is a relief, and the only relief appears to be afforded him, will he be dragooned into tranquility? Will that which cannot be effected by your grenadiers be accomplished by your executioners? The Luddite death penalty passed by a vote of 94 to 17. The breaking of a machine was now punishable by death, making a machine worth more than a man's life. Pressured by industrialists to protect their investments, 15,000 troops were sent to crush 1,000 or so rebels in the Luddite Triangle. By the end of the year, hundreds of Luddites had been rounded up, and trials were held with swift and brutal convictions. 8 men, guilty of only standing in a crowd that watched the factory burn, were sentenced to pay. A 16-year-old boy, John Hammond, had merely been playing soldier by walking up and down in front of the factory. When John was executed, he cried out for his mother to save him before he was hung. Even songs encouraging workers to unite were punishable by imprisonment or exile. So you sing them in secret. There was a weaver's daughter born when those were big and cheap. Work was forbid on a Monday, the work enough will keep. But your debts and taxes were paid, coin to the poor and the dead. Your order and council killed trade, and weavers cried for bread. So bent the daughter to her fate, her life is now her tour. The shuttle flies from morn till night and rests at a late hour. She cries aloud her hero's name, for Sherwood hero blue, to set a stop to wars and steam and wages as they stood. Now, class, think about that next time you're looking up cute videos of kittens on your tube. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube. What about you, Gloria Morales? Do you think the Luddite Rebellion was all in vain? Well, I should think not. Although the Luddite Rebellion was relatively small and short, its legacy caused many reforms that still affect you today. First, the Luddites made the English government and even the wealthy factory owners see the need for unions. It was either let your workers organize for their rights peacefully, or by golly, they were going to burn down your factories. The Luddites cost the English government over £1.5 million. Calm down, Stevie Carlson. That's English dollars, sweetheart, not pounds of candy. Yeesh. The factory reforms also passed, which meant that wages were increased, child labor was limited to 6 hours, and children had to be educated. God help us. But one of the most important reforms to come from the Luddite Rebellion was the machinery question. Literary figures during the time, including Percy Shelley and Mary Shelley, asked the question, does unrestrained machinery destroy society? Mary Shelley, who was born in 1797, grew up watching the Luddites. What novel did she write in 1818, shortly after the Luddites had been silenced? Anyone? Yeesh, all right, here's a clue. Frank Reynolds, you might like this novel. That's right, Frankenstein. Frankenstein shows Mary Shelley's ideas about what happens when the line between man and machine is blurred. Many historians believe that Frankenstein is an allegory for the destruction of agricultural communities based on land and labor by mechanical societies based on fuel and factories, much like when Frankenstein destroys his creator. Sorry, we ruined the ending for you. The machinery question puzzles us even today. Take your cell phone, for example, or even Ortega. When was the last time you left your house without your cell phone in your pocket? Is it an addiction you have trouble controlling? Was it better to actually read a book or to look up a summary on Wikipedia? Machines affect our lives just as much as they affected the Luddite weavers. The question is, will we control the machines or will they control us? Sorry. Hello? Oh, I gotta take this. What? Thank you.